President Buhari arrives Saudi Arabia to join other heads of state and governments for the summit of the Organization of Islamic Cooperation. Federal government expresses appreciation to Nigerians for voting Buhari and his team for a second term, promises not to betray the trust reposed in them. More Nigerians reel out their expectations of government in the next level. Plus, Court of Appeal upholds Senator Ademola Adeleke's qualification to contest governorship election. Good evening. Thanks for joining us on NTA Network News. I am Cyril Stober in Abuja. Welcome. President Muhammadu Buhari is in Makkah, the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, ahead of the summit of the Organization of Islamic Cooperation, OIC. The summit, 14th in its series to be attended by all heads of state and governments of member countries, is being hosted by the Saudi monarch King Salman bin Abdulaziz Al Saud. State House correspondent Adamu Sambu has details.
President Muhammadu Buhari, accompanied by the governors of Jigawa, Niger and Osun states, arrived the royal terminal of King Abdulaziz International Airport, Jeddah, at about 6 o'clock local time. He was received by senior officials of the government of Saudi Arabia, led by the Deputy Governor of Mecca Province, Prince Abdullah bin Bandar bin Abdulaziz. Also at the airport were Nigeria's ambassador to the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Director General, National Intelligence Agency, and the National Information Technology Development Agency, Chairman of the National Hajj Commission, and other personalities. President Buhari is expected to join other heads of state and government at the summit beginning on Friday with the theme Makkatul Mukarramah Summit, hand in hand towards the future. It seeks to develop a unified stance on events in the Islamic world. The Nigerian leaders' address to the forum will underscore the need for member countries to unite and work together towards combating common challenges such as terrorism and violent extremism. He is also expected to push forward themes that have been at the forefront of his domestic and international priorities, including reviving the Lake Chad Basin, investing in Nigeria to create jobs, and financing for development.
The organization has moved away from those old perceptions. It has expanded, it has widened up, it has opened up. In OIC today, there is representation by virtually all the major countries of the world, including the United Nations and the EU, with ambassadors and all of that. And so therefore, it's like another mini United Nations, if you like. It has nothing to do with imposition of religious views. Nigeria representation is made up of Muslims and Christians. On the table to be seated for these discussions, there will be Muslim nations, there will be non-Muslim nations. So nobody would come and do things that will hurt their own population. I think that in our country we have a peculiar problem. Suspicions run deep. President Muhammadu Buhari will preoccupy himself with seeking the best opportunities for Nigeria. Some of these countries, they are opening up. Saudi Arabia, with all of their petrodollars, they are investing heavily abroad. And they like President Muhammadu Buhari. So we should seize the moment and see what we can make of this.
On the margins of the summit, President Muhammadu Buhari will hold bilateral meetings with some world leaders to promote increased cooperation and collaboration on issues of mutual concern. Since Nigeria joined the OIC in 1986, President Muhammadu Buhari becomes the third Nigerian leader to attend its conference in person after the late President Umaru Musa Yar'Adua and his predecessor in office, Goodluck Ebele Jonathan. From Makkah, Adamu Sambu, NTA News.
In the meantime, the Council of Ministers of the Organization of Islamic Cooperation, OIC, has met in Jeddah, Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, ahead of the meeting of the Council of Heads of State and Governments. The Nigerian delegation was led by former Minister of Foreign Affairs Jeffrey Onyama and the Permanent Secretary in the Ministry, Ambassador Mustafa Suleiman. They speak on the agenda of the summit and expectations.
And it's an organization that's dedicated to, it's a multilateral organization dedicated to promotion of development and peace globally around the world, and in particular in the member countries.
Now, the expectation all the time is that such forum will address these global issues as they relate to member states and try to define a framework for addressing such issues for both member nations and and globally also.
And back here in Abuja, Vice President Yemi Osinbajo has expressed gratitude to Nigerians for the trust reposed in the President and his team. The Vice President, at the inauguration gala night held at the State House in Abuja, reiterated the administration's commitment to good governance. State House correspondent Jide Onifade reports.
It's really a moment of joy for Nigerians. 20 years down the line and the root of democracy is still growing on the Nigerian political soil. The re-election of President Muhammadu Buhari for another 4-year term and the celebration of another democratic dispensation takeoff are evidences of the people's acceptance of democratic rule in the country.
Many reasons to be happy and to celebrate our country. We passed through a successful general elections across the 36 states and the FCT that were relatively peaceful. We've had a very peaceful inaugural ceremony today, and all of those who thought Nigeria will face insurmountable challenges, I'm sure they are rethinking.
Vice President Yemi Osinbajo and Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Boss Mustafa, all say thank you to Nigerians for another opportunity given to the President and his team, as well as the party, the APC.
The beauty of democracy is the orderly and civilized process of transition. But perhaps more importantly is the sanctity of and respect for the will of the people and the choice of the people. On February 23rd, the Nigerian people freely made a choice to re-elect President Muhammadu Buhari for a second term in office. It was that choice that we celebrated with pomp and pageantry this morning. We are grateful to the Almighty God for the grace by which this was made possible, and the Nigerian people for trusting us yet again. That trust will not be betrayed.
Today, we celebrate our nation. Today, we commit ourselves to the development, peaceful coexistence, and unity in diversity. Our support is needed to make Nigeria of our dream. Let's get ready for a greater Nigeria, and let's do everything to ensure that we do not fail.
And so the bid goes on in advancing the country. From the banquet hall of the State House, Jide Onifade, NT News.
And as President Buhari begins a fresh 4-year mandate, Nigerians have continued to speak on what they hope to see in the coming months and years. Today on Good Morning Nigeria, guests discuss some of the issues that must be addressed in order to move the country forward. Abdul Karim Mohammed Zurmi has the report.
The Buhari administration devoted significant energy on 3 key issues, which include the economy, fight against corruption, and security. With its mandate renewed, experts believe that the administration's task ahead is enormous, and as such, the government needs to move fast.
The administration realizes that there's actually nothing to celebrate because you are coming back to office, but that this is a time to work, to begin to address some of the serious challenges facing the nation.
I would look forward to seeing the government address these issues with speed, with greater commitment, with greater energy than we witnessed during the first 4 years.
The guests agreed that bringing in experienced, competent, and capable people who are willing to go all out to achieve results is key to the success of the administration.
At the end of the day, for me, people who are really prepared to go the extra mile in terms of leadership to get things done. This is the fundamental problem from my perspective.
The support of Nigerians, they emphasize, is also key to the administration's overall success. In Abuja, Abdulkarim Mohammed Zurmi, NTA News.
You're watching the news at 9 on the network service of the NTA. More reports ahead after this break.
On behalf of my family and the good people of Niger State, I, the Niger State Governor, Abubakar Sani Bello, wish to felicitate with President Muhammadu Buhari, GCFR, and Commander-in-Chief of Nigeria Armed Forces, and the Vice President, Yemi Osinbajo, for their successful inauguration ceremony for a second term in office. Mr. President, sir, the overwhelming show of support for your second term is a testament to your uprightness, doggedness, and the people's belief in your policies that have endured the country in the Committee of Nations. May God grant you more wisdom as you work towards taking Nigeria to greater heights. Once again, congratulations. Long live Niger State, long live the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Announcer 2019 Niger State Inaugural Committee.
It's Ramadan. It's okay to share what you love. Ramadan Kareem from Indomie. Indomie Super Pack now available at 85 Naira.
The founder and president of Lee Engineering and Construction Company Limited and the entire management heartily congratulate the President, Federal Republic of Nigeria, Muhammadu Buhari, and the Vice President, Professor Yemi Osinbajo, on their successful inauguration for a second term in office. As an indigenous construction company in oil and gas industry, we will work with the new administration to actualize the local content agenda in the industry. Once more, congratulations, Mr. President, on your well-deserved renewal of mandate as we pray for a successful tenure in office. Signed, Dr. Limon Ikpea, CEO, Lee Engineering and Construction Company Limited.
Munch it, what a tasty, crunchy feeling. Munch it, gotta munch it every day. Munch it, just give me that super snack. Munch it, oh irresistible. Munch it, makes me wanna say one munch, two munch, non-stop munch. Munch it is here, irresistible. One munch, two munch, non-stop munch.
Try a pack of Munch It snack at 50 Naira.
On behalf of Grassroots Mobilization for APC nationwide, Hajia Hawa Bago wishes to congratulate President Muhammadu Buhari, Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Force, on a second term inauguration in office. We wish you continued success and strength in performing your duties in office to enable you consolidate on the people's-oriented projects your administration embarks on.
One Football Confederation, 24 teams, 6 stadiums, 4 cities, 504 African stars, 1 trophy. The Africa Cup of Nations Egypt 2019 comes alive from June 21 with the showpiece final on July 19, 2019. Watch the 52 matches of the tournament live on Africa's biggest and largest television network, NTA, in partnership with Hotsports. Be part of the biggest soccer fiesta in the African continent as the Super Eagles go on a bold mission to clinch the prestigious title for the 4th time, to the excitement of millions of fans across the length and breadth of Nigeria. Nigeria's premier sports production and marketing group, Hotsports, partners with the biggest, the largest, and the #1 television network in Africa, the NTA, to give Nigerians a memorable viewing experience. Boost fan support for the Super Eagles to glory in Egypt. For inquiries, please contact Abubakar on 0803-331-0175 and Felix on 0803-308-2375. NTA, you can't beat the rich.
Thanks for staying with us. At 83, Chief Imam of Ngar village in Barkin-Ladi local government area of Plateau State, Abdullahi Abubakar, has become a hero, and he's been celebrated by the federal government as an example of a good religious leader and ambassador of peace. Imam Abdullahi Abubakar, who demonstrated a courageous act to save more than 300 people during an attack on his village in June 2018, is also being recognized internationally. During his visit to the villa, Vice President Osinbajo described the act as heroic, which should be celebrated anywhere in the world. State House correspondent Jide Onifadi reports.
Abdullahi Abubakar, chief imam of Nga village in Barkin-Ladi local government area of Plateau State. On him, attention has shifted for his heroic act. And here he fights back tears as he recounts what happened on that dark midday of 23rd of June 2018, when his village and two others were invaded by armed men, burning houses and killing men, women and children. He, along his Fulani assistant, had formed a shield for those who took refuge in the mosque and his private apartment, thereby saving hundreds of lives. Vice President Yemi Osinbajo describes this as one of the compelling stories of love.
Most compelling stories of the love that one individual can show, not just for other human beings, but especially because they are not even persons of his own faith or persons of his own tribe. You know, in a society where tribe and religion usually play such a prominent part in how we relate to each other.
Vice President Osinbajo urges politicians to avoid using religion, tribal sentiment to create division among people, noting that Abubakar has demonstrated to leaders that the way to resolve whatever conflict is not by violence, but a demonstration of love.
Here is an individual who has done, just by this action, so much more than whatever words we can say as politicians or as heads of government, whatever words we can say, whatever we can preach as religious leaders. By this singular act of just, an act that puts his life on the line, I think he's said it all for all of us. And really, he deserves all the commendation and all the honor that he gets for this.
With Abdullahi Abubakar is the village head, Damafulu Mangai. In the State House, Jide Onifade, NT News.
Some courage by the octogenarian. The Senate has confirmed the nomination of Musa Abubakar Sadiq as President of the Federal Capital Territory Customary Court of Appeal. Ignatius Nkwo reports that the nominee was called to the bar in 1984.
The presiding officer, Deputy Senate President Ike Muhammadu read executive communication from the President requesting that the legislators do confirm Musa Abubakar Sadiq as President Customary Court of Appeal of the Federal Capital Territory. In less than 40 minutes, the Senate ushered him in, dissolved into Committee of the Whole, screened and approved his nomination, and senators were in compliant mood.
Where those at the lowest ladder, the vulnerable, the disadvantaged, can go to courts and get judgment because they deserve to get those judgments.
He's an astounding nominee with a very, very good pedigree. I know him to be a very erudite judge.
All right, in the absence of any further comments or strong objection, can the nominee take a bow?
The confirmation of Musa Abubakar Sadiq has now become the fastest confirmation by the 8th Senate.
She's in bad shape.
Senator Victor Ume drew the attention of the Senate to the alleged planned downgrading of the Akanu International Airport, Enugu.
The Senate resolved to urge the federal government to take steps to complete the new terminal building of the Enugu International Airport and put it to use by local and foreign airlines.
In support of the motion that the airport should be upgraded, the runway should be fixed properly, the drainage should be taken care of.
The whole runway be rehabilitated, as we'll be having dangers in our hands.
Senate considered the report of its committee on petroleum downstream for the payment of 129 billion naira as subsidy claims to petroleum marketers. This is the last plenary for legislative business by the 8th Senate.
To distinguished colleagues, I would like to join the Senate leader in wishing all of us a very happy Salah.
Senate has adjourned to Thursday, the 6th of June 2019, during which it will hold its valedictory session. From the National Assembly, Ignatius Nkwo, NTA News.
The Court of Appeal sitting in Abuja has upheld the qualification of Senator Ademola Adeleke to contest in the governorship election of Osun State. Delivering judgment on a number of consolidated cases, the Court of Appeal said the FCT High Court erred in its claims. Judiciary correspondent Femi Okewu reports.
Thursday saw the Abuja division of the Court of Appeal delivering 5 judgments in various pre-election cases, most of which came from Delta and Osun states. But of particular interest were the certificate cases of Senator Ademola Adeleke, PDP's governorship candidate in the last Osun State governorship elections. That case had gone through various high courts, starting with the High Court of Osun State in Osogbo, which took direct evidence from WAEC to confirm that Senator Adeleke was indeed among the students that sat for the 1981 West African Examination Council's exams. But at the FCT High Court, this piece of evidence was jettisoned, resulting into the verdict that has now brought about the appeal. The Court of Appeal said apart from the fact that the FCT High Court had no jurisdiction to sit on appeal over a case that emanated from a court of coordinate jurisdiction, the matter was filed out of time, being a pre-election matter, and judgment also delivered beyond the 180 days allowed for the hearing and determination of pre-election matters. The Court of Appeal therefore upheld the appeal by Senator Adeleke and set aside the judgment of the FCT High Court, which, while awarding 3 million naira cost against the 2 respondents.
Justice has been served, and there's no doubt in my mind that today's judgment was a landmark judgment.
Well, that is the decision of the court. We are bound by it. We will get back to our clients. They will decide on what to do, the way forward.
In the Delta cases, Peter Nwabushi was affirmed as the duly nominated senator-elect representing Delta North Senatorial District. In Abuja, Femi Okewu, NTA News.
The House of Representatives today held its last day of legislative business for the 8th Assembly in what could be described as a marathon legislative sitting. National Assembly correspondent Lami Ali reports.
Honourable colleagues, this will mark the last sitting of the 8th Assembly.
As the countdown to the end of the 8th Assembly continues, the lawmakers at Tuesday's plenary engaged themselves with clearance of items before the House. Plenary featured laying, consideration and adoption of reports, with many bills passed as well, as more than 60 items were contained in the day's order paper. Among key reports considered and adopted are bills from the House Committee on National Security and Intelligence, which deal with fight against terrorism, and those from House Committee on Defense, which made provisions for Armed Forces Reserve. The reports from House Committee on Gas Resources, which investigated alleged plans to sell Nigerian liquefied natural gas, said the allegation be disregarded.
We invited all the parties. NNPC denied, representing the federal government. Sheriff denied.
The issue of withdrawal of license from registered gun owners in Nigeria by the federal government, brought up under matters of urgent public importance, took up the most of the day's plenary.
This executive order targets only legal guns, and there doesn't seem to be any actionable plan that targets the guns in the hands of criminals.
A plea from Representative Azubogu for authorities to do something about erosion in Anambra State also got the support of members.
With the industrial to commercial hub of Anambra State and Nigeria is under serious ecological threat, occasioned by heavy gully erosion, which has cut off the major entrance to the market.
The Speaker announced adjournment of the House for the Eid al-Fitr celebration to resume on 6 June for the valedictory session. From the National Assembly, Lami Ali, NTA News.
And as the 8th National Assembly winds down, a group known as National Advocates for Health is appealing to the President to assent to some health bills passed by the lawmakers before the 9th National Assembly commences. Chimdema Ndubisi reports that the group says if assent is not given, the implication is a repetition of a long legislative process in the 9th Assembly.
By the National Health Insurance Scheme's records, only about 5% of the nation's population is covered by the scheme, majority of who are public servants. The effect is huge out-of-pocket spending for ailments. This sometimes takes a toll on patients and their relatives, leading to many sourcing for financial support from the public, while others who can't afford the payment may lose their lives. It is to address this that the 8th National Assembly passed the National Health Insurance Commission Bill, which makes health insurance mandatory for all.
The Pharmaceutical Council of Nigeria Establishment Acts, when we have that established, then we'll be able, more private people will be able to invest in the pharmaceuticals, and it will go a long way to ensure that our medications and drugs, when needed, are there.
There's no law guiding the Primary Health Care Board of the FCT or the insurance scheme. There are policies. Any minister or any president can come and say, I'm not funding, I'm not putting money there.
Assenting to them would mean a great service to the motherland.
The group commended the legislature for appropriating 51.22 billion naira as basic healthcare provision fund and the executive for already disbursing 12.7 billion naira to improve primary healthcare, immunization and response to diseases outbreaks. In Abuja, Chimdema Ndubisi, NTA News.
Now a bit on security. The Office of the National Security Advisor has commenced the review and validation of the 2019 Draft National Security Strategy to accommodate emerging threats and developments. Defense correspondent Ismail Musa explains what it entails.
The National Security Strategy is a clarion call to Nigerians to develop individual and collective consciousness to protect and defend the country against natural and man-made disasters. Conceived in 2014, the document also demands multi-sectoral, domestic and international approaches towards protecting the nation's socio-economic well-being.
Rather than the
These stakeholders, drawn from the civil society and the armed forces, are here to analyze collated information with a view to review and validate the 2019 Draft National Security Strategy.
We must thus continuously assess the current and future threat environment and develop appropriate resilience and capacity to mitigate these challenges.
The review and validation of the document is critical to addressing the dynamism and emerging security threats.
The degrading of Boko Haram, the increase in pastoralist farmers conflict, the increase in kidnapping. What are the things that were not captured into 2014, which have happened within the last 5 years that are now being looked at in the 2019 document?
The strategy also seeks to harmonize the operations and activities of security providers. In Abuja, Ismail Musa, NTA News.
And in addition to the provision of basic health services, the Nigerian Air Force has upgraded some wings of its 063 hospital in Abuja to respond to medical emergencies. Najatu Tijani reports that the upgraded wings have been named after 4 retired officers who served under the medical unit.
Accolades for these retired officers who served in the medical services during their time in the Nigerian Air Force. Air Commodore Habiba Garba, the first female to retire at that rank, served as a nurse. Flight Lieutenant Doda Phillips' case is, however, unique. While the others retired in the fullness of time, his service was cut short by tragedy.
When I had an accident, 10 years now, and I'm still serving up to the time of my retirement. My joy today is for me to see the lab come after my name because I'm the pioneer of the lab.
And this is the first time the medical profession is uplifted in the Nigerian Air Force. Uplifted in the sense that they recognize your work and honor you while you are still alive.
The upgraded wings, which include a state-of-the-art laboratory, accident and emergency unit, and standard surgical theatre named after the officers, are for the provision of quality healthcare services.
The availability of these facilities
will no doubt enable the hospital to respond to trauma and emergencies more efficiently and more effectively.
This machine here is the chemistry auto analyzer, which carries out a full range of chemistry tests to determine renal and liver function, amongst others. And it is just one of the few state-of-the-art equipment which this laboratory has to serve host communities and personnel of the Nigerian Air Force. Naja'atu Tijani, NTA News.
In time now to link up with Jennifer Igwe in our Lagos Center for an update on the removal of trucks in Apapa and other news. Jennifer?
Thank you, Cyril, and welcome to the Center of Excellence. Now, days after the expiration of the presidential order on removal of articulated trucks from bridges in Lagos, some trucks are back on Apapa-Oshodi Express Road. Paul Omukago has the update.
Apapa-Oshodi Express Road is a crucial access to Tinkan and Apapa ports. Before the presidential directive, the road was a no-go area as a result of endless gridlocks caused by indiscriminate parking of trucks. Although there is a remarkable improvement on vehicular movement, NTA News observed the gradual re-emergence of trucks between the Ijesha and Mile 2 area. Apart from the major road, the service lane has been taken over by the trucks obstructing activities of businesses in that axis.
Since last year we've been here, they are stuck. Even at the pedestrian steps here, they are parked over there. We don't even have access to our customers any longer. If you watch the main express, people cannot pass from there and look towards our company to see what we are saying.
When the president gave the order, the truck reduced a bit, but as you can see, the trucks are still on the road. One of the factors is that there are bad locations of terminals. Terminals are located in wrong places. There should be in suburbs, you understand? It's not just, I think the problem is my main problem.
The various access routes to Apapa is still a challenge for business owners and the motoring public. In Lagos, Paul Omukago, NTA News.
In the last 4 years, the health sector has experienced some remarkable improvements. One of such is establishment of a cancer center with world-class facilities in Lagos University Teaching Hospital. Hingino John Adams tells us more.
The facility has the capacity to cater for the health needs of over 5,000 patients in Nigeria and neighboring countries annually. This for sure will reduce the rate of medical tourism by Nigerians.
What we look forward to is a day you walk into Luth, you want to have treatment. You either write a check if you can afford it, or say, Luth, I have an insurance, or say, oh, because you don't have an insurance and you're poor, we will cover you and government will reimburse us.
Major health campaign in the Lake Chad Basin area was carried out with vaccination of over 41 million children against polio. In its bid to ensure universal health coverage, about 4,000 out of the 10,000 primary health care centers the government promised to revitalize have received attention. Recently, President Buhari rolled out the Basic Healthcare Provision Fund appropriated by the National Assembly in 2018. This is the first time it is being appropriated since the bill was signed in 2014.
It will go a long way, especially when we are talking of the vulnerable groups in the society. We are talking of the children under 5. We are talking of the people with disabilities. We are talking of the elderly.
In 2018, the federal government banned the importation and production of codeine-related drugs, as well as inaugurated a Presidential Advisory Committee and Ministerial Committee on Drug Abuse.
We want to limit the supply of these substances illegally.
Wife of the president, Aisha Buhari, also launched a national response to eliminate the practice of female genital mutilation, while more than 600,000 Nigerians have benefited from life-saving therapies through the president's emergency plan for AIDS relief. With these achievements, observers are optimistic that Nigerians are in for a better deal in the next 4 years. In Lagos, Hingino John Adams, NTA News.
Thank you, Hingino. This is NTA Network News. More reports after this commercial break. Stay with us.
cities where people meet. From Niger to yonder, it got you talking. You are the one that's falling to keep you talking. Yeah! Talking. We got people talking. Yeah. Talking. We've got people talking. Dressing from east to the west to the south. Everywhere they cover, they know the mouth.
5 times bonus to call all networks on every recharge. We get you talking.
Keep talking.
Glow Unlimited.
Mr. Shegu, are you okay?
I'm having pain, so this has been like this for the past 1 week.
Let me assist you to the hospital. You can't continue like this alone.
No. I want to go and see Baba Muslimi to give me some herbal mixture so that I can take. Because this hospital, with the way they treat person, I'm not going to the hospital.
Mr. Shegu, that was in the past. With new patients' bill of rights, patients have the right to an urgent, immediate, and sufficient intervention and care. A right to complain and experience dissatisfaction where and when necessary. With the Federal Competition and Consumer Protection Commission, FCCPC, your consumers' rights are protected.
To lay your complaint, please contact any of the Federal Competition and Consumer Protection Commission's FCCPC offices closest to you with your complaints. You can also call our helplines at 0805 600 2020 or 0805 600 3030.
Please, let us go to the hospital. I'd like to experience this firsthand.
At FCCPC, you can rely on us to resolve your complaints effectively and efficiently.
The Nigerian national flag is a sacred national symbol. It is a mark of patriotism and a show of love for our nation to fly the national flag correctly, in the right colors, right dimension, and in the right sizes for each occasion. In recent times, it has been noticed that government offices, corporate organizations, banks, embassies, and other notable institutions fly faded, shredded, and haggard-looking versions of the national flag. This is wrong and must stop. It has also been noticed that some citizens prefer to popularize the national flag of other nations. Fellow countrymen and women, let us be patriotic. Come, let us show love for our motherland. Fly the correct versions of our national flag in all relevant places. Be patriotic. Be proud ambassadors of our great country.
This message is from the National Orientation Agency.
Economic experts at the 5th edition Red Lecture are advocating human capital development and adequate attention to growing micro, small and medium enterprises as solutions to real sector constraints. This, they believe, will fast-track the economic diversification drive in the next 4 years. Muplang Dakok reports.
Bank in its 2018 Human Capital Index ranks Nigeria 152 out of 157, and experts say this is not reflective of the potentials of the country, considering its vast human resources, as evident by Nigerians excelling in various fields around the world. To solve the problem, experts at this edition of the Red Lecture recommend increased support for innovation and investment in skill-specific micro, small and medium enterprises, especially among youths.
We need to be able to raise our level of productivity. To be globally competitive, we have to produce as efficiently and effectively as the competitors in Europe, in America.
Help use the structures on ground already, which is the commercial microfinance banks, due to their branch networks, to help reach the people, which are the MSME segment, who, in my view, remain the engine of economic growth in any economy. So the federal government has done an admirable job, but there's a lot more that needs to be done.
They say human capital development can be achieved with good quality leadership that prepares the ground for inclusive growth for all. In Abuja, Muplang Dakok, NTA News.
And Maiduguri Network Center is next in our lineup. Muhammad Ibrahim is sitting in tonight. Muhammad.
Thank you, Cyril, and welcome to Maiduguri. Borno State Governor Professor Babagana Umar Zulum says he will build upon the solid foundation already laid by the Kashim Shettima-led administration based on a 10-pact transformation agenda. The governor stated this during his inaugural remarks shortly after he was sworn in as the 7th civilian governor of Borno State. Mohammed Goni reports.
This is the maiden inspection of facilities by the Northeast Development Commission since its inauguration by President Muhammadu Buhari. Assessing different mega schools within Maiduguri Metropolis, Chairman Major General Paul Tarfa, retired, expressed satisfaction with the facilities, saying it will greatly assist in accomplishing some of the core mandates of the Commission, especially in the area of tackling illiteracy. He assured that the Commission will consolidate on the achievement through ensuring the overall enrollment of school-age children and those orphaned due to insurgency.
We have to find a lasting solution, both temporary, middle, and long term. We have to find means of putting all these unfortunate boys running helplessly, hungry, put them in kind of jobs to do.
Borno State Governor Professor Babagana Umar Zulum, who conducted the NEDC team round the facility, said the motive behind setting up the schools is to close a number of gaps in acquiring Western education and stressed the need to work closely with the Commission.
Building mega school, even 42 of these types, is not easy. With the meager resources that we are receiving from the Federation account.
The management staff of Northeast Development Commission also inspected some of its new facilities within the metropolis. In Maiduguri, Abubakar Muhammad Musa, NTA News.
That was the report by Abubakar Musa on the chairman of Northeast Development Commission, Major General Paul Tarfa, who led members of the Board of Commission on Inspection of Mega Schools built by Borno State Government. To the report, Borno State Governor Professor Babagana Umar Zulum says he will build upon the solid foundation already laid by the Kashim Shettima-led administration based on a 10-pact transformation agenda. The governor stated this during his inaugural remarks shortly after he was sworn in as the 7th civilian governor of Borno State. Mohammed Goni reports.
The oath of office and that of allegiance were administered on the Borno State Deputy Governor Umar Usman Kadafuru and the Governor Professor Babagana Umar Zulum by the State Chief Judge Justice Kashim Zanna. The newly inaugurated Governor Professor Babagana Umar Zulum paid tribute to the former Governor Kashim Shettima, saying the former Governor has brought a fresh perspective to governance, adding that he has always been there for the people of Borno in their hours of need. The Governor, who pledged to serve the people of Borno in the best possible ways, announced that his administration will focus on security, job creation, food security, reconstruction, rehabilitation, and resettlement.
Governance is a serious business that we do not take with levity. It is especially when we take on a journey from the past to the present.
Former Governor of Borno State, Kashim Shettima, highlighted the challenges he faced in his 8 years of stewardship due to insurgency and the achievements recorded in various areas such as health, education, agriculture, reconstruction, and resettlement, among others, which he attributed to the support enjoyed from the people of Borno. The former governor enjoined citizens of the state to extend same support and cooperation to Professor Babagana Umar Zulum, who he said can take Borno to the next level. Handing and taking over ceremony also featured on the occasion. In Maiduguri, Mahmoud Goni, NTA News.
And that's all from this end. Is back to Cyril in Abuja.
Thank you, Mohammed. In a bid to tackle the challenges militating against farmers' output in the production of cocoa and bring Nigeria back to its position as one of the main producing countries in Africa, cocoa farmers in the Niger Delta region are being equipped with latest modern techniques to boost their yield. This is part of the thrusts, the roundtable discussion on development strategies on improved cocoa value chain in the region. Doris Olumoko reports.
Tremendous opportunities abound in Nigerian cocoa sector, but persistent low cocoa productivity, absence of institutional control and administrative inefficiencies in the sector are resulting in low profitability for actors in the cocoa value chain. This Cocoa Stakeholders Roundtable, therefore, provides a platform for stakeholders to address issues like poor cocoa bean quality and regulation in the sector. The forum articulated some of the actions to be taken moving forward.
Provision of modern fermentation and sun-drying equipment are part of our measures to bring about increase in production both in quantity and quality. With common mutual incentives, that the industry will have a strong supporting service providers delivering inputs, extension technologies, smallholder farmers need to upgrade, leading to increased productivity.
The stakeholders unanimously agreed that there is need for the establishment of a cocoa steering committee comprising both public and private sector actors for the implementation of recommended action points. About 78% of cocoa produced in Nigeria comes from the Niger Delta region, with Ondo and Cross River states accounting for 70% of Nigeria's cocoa production. In Akure, Doris Olumoko, NTA News.
Federal government inaugurates erosion control project in Onitsha, Anambra State. For details and other news, let's join Comfort Ayim in our Enugu Center.
Hello and welcome to Enugu. The President Muhammadu Buhari-led administration has continued to demonstrate its resolve to ensure no part of the country suffers neglect due to its geographical location or political consideration. This came to the fore at the inauguration and handover of flood and erosion control project around the Ochanja Market, Onitsha, Anambra State. Daniel Obai reports.
For several decades, Mbonejike and its adjoining roads in Fege have become impassable and nightmare to the residents due to its deplorable state, with perennial flooding and gully erosion compounding their woes.
We have suffered for this road before, but now we thank God for our government. They give us a better life.
At the moment, the story changed thanks to the federal government ecological intervention project approved by the President Muhammadu Buhari for the fourth quarter 2017. The project has seen the road wearing a new look with potential positive impact on the social and economic lives of the citizens.
This Mbonu road has been forgotten. It was so bad that people could not pass there. All of a sudden, the road has been worked, thanks to the federal government.
Project executed by the Ecological Fund Office of the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Permanent Secretary represented, noted that it is expected to achieve dual purpose of enabling the community take over and exercise ownership of the project and to ensure maintenance and sustainability.
The approval of this project by Mr. President, the testimony of the President administration from me that no part of the country will suffer any neglect owing to this geographical location or political consideration.
The Ecological Fund Office, under the Office of the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, has one of its core mandates to reduce ecological problems nationwide. In Onitsha, Daniel Okbai, NTA News.
The next 4 years in Enugu State will witness massive deployment of resources to further agenda development in the rural areas as the state government fully supports local government autonomy. This is one of the policy statements of Governor Ifeanyi Ugwuanyi in his second-term inaugural speech at the Michael Okpara Enugu. Susan Eze reports.
As another 4 years journey as executive governor and deputy governor begins officially with this ceremony, Governor Ugwuanyi hinted on his experiences of the first tenure and made projections for the next 4 years. No sector will be neglected, as he promised that government will double efforts in this last lap of government that develop the health, education, agriculture, and all other sectors, creating new frontiers of opportunities for local and international partnerships, while promising that government will live up to its obligations to the youths and state civil servants. Governor Ugwuanyi reiterated commitment to grassroots development and the willingness of his administration to support autonomy of the local government and all constitutional steps to strengthen the local government councils as third tier of government.
I
My team and I will continue to count on your prayers every step of the way. With your prayers and angel leading the way, every mountain shall be broken, every valley shall be filled.
The second-term inauguration witnessed large turnout, including dignitaries from all spheres of life. In Enugu, Susan Eze, NTA News.
Thank you, Susan, and that's our contribution from Enugu Network News. Will continue after the commercial break. Stay with us.
They are there at the crack of dawn. They are there busy preparing while we rise for our day. They are there silently, guarding, waiting, listening, and watching. They are there ready in the sky above and the waters below, in the blistering heat of the day, in the dead of night, willing, indefatigable, determined in the defense of the sovereignty of our country. They are our first line of defense and our last. They who have paid the ultimate price in defending us. They are fathers and uncles. They are mothers and sisters and girlfriends and boyfriends. They are brothers and cousins and best friends and neighbors. They are classmates, colleagues, and citizens of this nation. They are our defenders and deserve our respect, our prayers, our thoughts. Nigeria, please support our armed forces.
One Football Confederation, 24 teams, 6 stadiums, 4 cities, 504 African stars, 1 trophy. The Africa Cup of Nations Egypt 2019 comes alive from June 21 with the showpiece final on July 19, 2019. Watch the 52 matches of the tournament live on Africa's biggest and largest television network, NTA, in partnership with Hotsports. Be part of the biggest soccer fiesta in the African continent as the Super Eagles go on a bold mission to clinch the prestigious title for the 4th time, to the excitement of millions of fans across the length and breadth of Nigeria. For inquiries, please contact Abubakar on 0803-331-0175 and Felix on 0803-308-2375. NTA, you can't beat the rich.
Sports now, and Nigeria's Flying Eagles will have to wait till the last group matches are concluded to find out if they're still in contention at the FIFA Under-20 World Cup in Poland, following their 1-1 draw with Ukraine Thursday evening. Kene Imagwadike has other reports on sports.
Staff of the Federal Ministry of Youth and Sport Development Thursday in Abuja held a farewell party in honor of the outgone minister Solomon Dalung. The former minister is credited with democratizing